big news from the stock market. You know, the app that they pre-install on your phone to make you feel dumb. Since the stock market recovered from the COVID tumble in 2020, Wall Street has been having a blast. And the more stocks you owned, the better time you were having, which is why Warren Buffett has got those new grills. But over the last year, inflation has been rising. The Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates to cool the economy down, and now it looks like the good times in the stock market might be officially over.
All eyes on Wall Street once again this morning. It was yesterday the stocks plummeted, pushing the S&P 500 officially into bear market territory.
The Dow Jones Industrials now 16% lower for the year. The tech and biotech-heavy Nasdaq down 30% year to date. And the broader S&P index, common in Americans' portfolios, sliding into bear market territory, down 21% this year. Real money that Americans invest to one day retire, pay for kids' college, or a new house. The advice from most financial experts, despite the high stress and the anxiety, don't panic.
There's no need to panic.
The truth of the matter is, don't panic.
Sorry, what did they say? I was too busy chugging that comically large bottle of Xanax. I'm not panicked, by the way, I'm just addicted to pills. But yes, people, these are scary times for stocks because we are now officially in a bear market, which is when people are so broke they have to blow Paddington in a parking lot. Oh heavens, oh heavens, oh heavens. No, obviously I'm joking. Paddington doesn't have a penis. A bear market is basically when the S&P has dropped 20% from its previous high, which for many can be very stressful. Yeah, right now, everyone who's looking at their E-Trade account feels like the same way you look when you're looking at your ex's wedding photos on Instagram. You're just like, why? Why do I keep looking? Why? Why am I? Oh, I hit like by mistake. No, I liked it. Now I have to comment. I wish you all the best. But even if you don't own stocks, a bear market is often a signal that a recession might be coming, and that affects everybody. The economy slows down, unemployment goes up, Africans become president, and your mom starts buying the generic cereals with the knockoff mascots. Yeah. Terry the tiger says they're adequate. And by the way, it's not just the stock market that's falling right now. Yeah, crypto is crashing even harder, with Bitcoin plummeting 67% from its high, which I find really interesting. Yeah. Because for like the past 10 years, every single crypto bro I've met has told me that crypto would protect me when the mainstream economy failed. Yeah, you heard them, they were everywhere. Crypto people would act like you were the crazy one for not investing your life savings into a coin some Swedish teenager invented last week. Oh, you're not in Doggy Monkey Coin? What a loser. You know what's even crazier is that the crypto crowd is blaming Biden for this. And look, here's the thing. You can blame a president for a lot of things. Inflation, unemployment, not being able to cheer for your son Brandon at a soccer game without it becoming a whole thing. But you can't blame him for crypto. No. My man, if an 80-year-old man who doesn't even know what Bitcoin is can crash your crypto, then your crypto ain't shit. I said it. Yeah. I know you're mad that your Jenga tower fell down, but that's what happens when you play Jenga. Because remember, like, this is what they said to everybody. They said, oh, the crypto is going to save you from the market. That's what crypto is. It protects you. They made it seem like it was a parachute that would protect us all from the economy. And then now the plane is crashing, and then it turns out the parachute is attached to the plane. And you're like, what is this? Oh, it's all going down. But let's move on from that bad economic news to some other bad economic news. For 2 years now, we have seen the global supply chain crisis impact everything from computers to cars to baby formula. And by the way, why is there never a supply chain shortage of bad stuff? You know, there's never a shortage of like racist Halloween costumes. No, but how will I get canceled now? But the latest shortage is hitting even closer to home, like as close as you can get.
Now to the latest shortage to hit our nation's store, tampons. Women are scrambling to find the products as shelves are increasingly becoming bare.
It's the latest of the supply chain issues to have a disproportionate impact on women. The makers of Tampax and Playtex say there's high demand and low supply. It's reportedly stemming from a combination of factory staffing problems, transportation logjams, and the rising cost of raw materials like plastics. Companies like CVS and Target confirming they are experiencing lower inventory. Walgreens telling ABC News they will have stock, but there may only be certain brands available while they navigate the supply disruption. And prices for this essential item may up nearly 10%, according to Bloomberg.
That's right. The pandemic supply chain problems have now led to a tampon shortage, a massive tampon shortage. And before we panic, I think we need to make sure that this whole thing wasn't just started by one dude's bullshit excuse for not picking up tampons. You know, it's just like, oh, sorry, babe, I tried, but there's like a whole supply chain issue. Yeah, it's like economy stuff. You wouldn't understand, yeah. Because look, this is actually a serious problem. Because without tampons, like, what will women dip into bowls of blue liquid? Yeah, I know how women's bodies work. I've seen it in the ads. I'm that guy. By the way, did you catch how they tried to blame the problem partly on women? Where they're like, due to high demand, what does that mean? No, but what is that? Due to high demand, because isn't the demand always pretty much the same? What has changed? Like, is there like some viral get your period challenge on TikTok right now? Due to high demand, get the out of here. And this absolutely sucks. I'll tell you now, this sucks for women. Guys don't have to go through this, but women do. It sucks. I will tell you who is probably loving it right now, though, is that one forgotten tampon that's been sitting at the bottom of your bag for 2 years. Well, Lisa. I knew you'd come crawling back. You spent 2 years throwing TJ Maxx receipts, chapstick, and gum wrappers on top of me. But look who's desperately digging around for me now. That's right. You thought you were cool. No, wait, come back. I'm sorry. Please don't leave me here. The pennies are so mean to me. All right. And finally, tonight, I wanted to wish someone very special a happy birthday. Actually, you guys can join me if you don't mind. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, President Donald Trump. It's too late. You wished him a happy birthday. All of you. Yeah, you made his day and you wished him a long life. He's here forever. You guys did that. Today is Donald Trump's 76th birthday. But it turns out he can't hear you. You went louder? Yeah, it is his birthday today, but it turns out the haters can't even give the poor man a day off. Because all week long, the January 6th committee has been riding his ass just because he tried to overthrow the government. And now they're even accusing him of fraud. Just because he asked his supporters for money to set up an election defense fund and then didn't set up an election defense fund. And yeah, that looks bad, but people don't realize that some of the money went to really important causes.
Investigators claim that President Trump raised over $250 million from supporters to fight election fraud claims, but then funneled the money to himself and his allies, including his son's fiancée, Kimberly Guilfoyle, who was paid $60,000 for a 2-minute speech introducing Donald Trump Jr. at the January 6th rally.
God damn. Trump took some of the money that he said he was going to use to fight election fraud and paid his son's fiancée $60,000 for a 2-minute introduction speech, which is such a scam. I don't care what anyone says. That's an even bigger scam than Tai Chi. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, who are you going to fight? An army of slow butterflies? What is this? Like, what is this? Who are you fighting? I will say, though, this does prove that Donald Trump is a proud feminist ally. Yeah, that's right, I said it. Everyone's always complaining that women get paid less for more work, but Trump, no, he's doing everything to close the wage gap. He paid Kimberly Guilfoyle for 2 minutes of work. He paid Stormy Daniels for 2 minutes of work. Yeah. Trump isn't breaking the law, he's breaking the glass ceiling. And in case you were wondering what a $60,000 2-minute speech sounds like, well, take a listen to some of the highlights.
Well, good morning, D.C., and good morning, America! God-loving, freedom-loving, liberty-loving patriots that will not let them steal this election. Thank you, President Trump, who stands for law enforcement for the Constitution, and let's show the president when he comes how much we love him. God bless America. God bless our president, and ladies and gentlemen, the best is yet to come.
Okay, no, now I understand it now. She wasn't paid to speak for 2 minutes. She was paid to stop speaking after 2 minutes. That's what happened there. I can keep going longer. No, here's your money, just take the money. Take the money, take it all. Take it all. Even the wind was like, But let's be honest, people, this was not a $60,000 speech. I don't care which side you're on. No good speech ends with Don Jr. coming out. That's not a good speech. And you know, once again, as much as people want to be angry at Donald Trump, I feel like this is one of those instances where he is the black light on America's democracy. Because you see, he didn't invent this scam. Politicians from every party use their campaign funds to enrich their friends. It's just that Trump does it so egregiously that everyone notices it. All politicians are like, oh, donate, it's for the fund, it's for this, but no one looks at where the money goes. Yeah, it's just something you pay attention to because of how he does it. It's the same way all of us have eaten a grape or two at the grocery store. But Trump's the guy who walks into Whole Foods with a fork and knife, you know? He's like, you guys have the best raw chicken, so good, so good. All right, that's it for the headlines, but before we go to a break, it's time to check in on the weather forecast with our very own Desi Leidick, everybody. Desi, so good to see you again. So, what's the weather looking like?
Oh, Trevor, we're inside. It doesn't matter. You know what does matter is the fact that there's a tampon shortage. I mean, I still have a source, but pretty soon my neighbor's going to start noticing that hers have gone missing.
What?
Let me tell you, it is bad times for women. I mean, no tampons? And Trevor, I know what you're going to say. What about pads? And while I am grateful for you as a man for trying to help solve this problem, it's very cute, but pads are off the table, okay? They're huge and obsolete. They're like the iPhone 3 of feminine hygiene. It's not gonna happen. And I know what you're gonna say next. Desi, what about the Diva Cup?
I didn't say that.
Look, I know that they are supposed to be great for the environment, and I get it, but I just can't get on board. A tampon you take out, you never have to see it again. But a Diva Cup, it's there every day. Like, it remembers. And it sees stuff, you know? Anyway, also, why do they call it a Diva Cup? I do not feel like a diva when I'm cleaning up a murder scene in the work bathroom.
That's a really good point.
If anything, they should call it the Dexter Cup. Look, I think you and I both know that there is only one way to solve this problem, okay? And that's to free bleed.
What?
Women, yes, women everywhere need to just start free bleeding. Everywhere, and I mean everywhere. I'm talking the subway, your office chair, happy hour at Applebee's. Trust me, if we all do that, men will stop ignoring this problem, and it'll get solved in a week, tops. Tops.
I guess.
Yeah, because let me tell you, if there is one thing that freaks men out more than blood, it's women's blood. By the way, I've been talking for 2 minutes, so you owe me 60 grand.
Well, we didn't talk about the weather, but thank you so much. Desi Leidick, everybody.